since we don't have a mayor currently. So we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Since there is no mayor pro tem, you need to temporarily approve someone to officiate tonight's meeting. You do not lose your ability to vote in that aspect.
So I need.
Do we have a nomination?
I nominate Casey Gibbon.
Any other nominations? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Did anybody abstain? Did you vote, Casey?
No, I didn't.
Because I felt like you were just giggling the whole time, but your mouth was down
Rolling
there.
my
I couldn't see it.
eyes. Just rolling my eyes.
Okay, so, at this point, as long as you don't have an objection, I think it's been chosen by your.
If you really don't want to do it, I'll do it, but, okay.
I'll just stumble over everything.
Just call each one out.
No, I'm good right here. I guess so, yes, we need to do a roll call.
Alderman Smith. Alderman Billiard.
Here.
Alderman Keen.
Here.
Alderman Lancaster.
Here.
Alderman Hall.
Present.
Alderman Swatosh.
Present.
Mayor Baird. We do have a quorum.
Okay, so now we need to look over the agenda and approve the agenda for this evening.
I do have amendments to make, ma'am.
Okay.
For each of the aldermen, and there's a few sheets on the entryway table. There were 4 items from Monday's agenda that I failed to get transferred over because I didn't understand the sense of urgency on a couple of them. So they will be new number 9, agreement with language services to comply with our limited English proficiency policy, and that's a discussion and vote. Number 10, additional policies for civil rights compliance, discussion and vote. Number 11 will be sanitary sewer project status update, and number 12, Jackson Street overlay project status update.
Okay, so the issue is going to be, before you can make those additions to the agenda, is that the sunshine law requires 24-hour notice. So unless there is a reason that it wasn't done more than 24 hours for notice on the agenda, you can't add them to the agenda.
So even the updates on status stuff, you can't do.
Anything, unless it's an emergency that must be discussed tonight, and that would be your reason for being within the 24 hours. Because you must, sunshine law really dictates what you can and can't talk about.
Okay, so we would have to deflect the whether it's an emergency or not.
You'd have to,
See,
yeah,
so do these fall under
distinguish.
emergency if we can't do them before the 25th?
We have a contractual deadline of April 18 for the non-discrimination civil rights compliance. Putting this off the 25th, getting us under a month before the deadline. You will say that doesn't constitute an emergency.
Because you can do it in the next meeting.
Well, we've also got to flange things up with the EPA. So it's my disappointment that these did not get transferred over. I think it's a gross oversight. And we'll deal with the fallout as it may.
You could always call an additional emergency meeting, but you guys are meeting in what, 10 days?
And we may have a special session next week for a city administrator interview, so we could do it at that time.
You've got enough time that it wouldn't pass muster.
So in that case, there are no additions, no amendments to the agenda then.
So then I would ask for an approval of the agenda as written.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda the way it's written.
A second.
We do have a first and a second. Alderman Billiard.
Yes.
Alderman Key,
Yes.
Alderman Lancaster,
Yes.
Alderman Hall,
Yes.
Alderman Swallow.
Yes.
Thank you.
And now I would ask for approval of the consent agenda.
I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda as written.
I'll second that.
We have a first and a second. Alderman Billiard,
Yes.
Alderman Key,
Yes.
Alderman Lancaster,
Yes.
Alderman Hall,
Yes.
Alderman Swallow.
Yes.
Thank you.
Do we have any citizen input this evening? Seeing none, we will move to the city administrator's report regarding the open house.
So the administrator's report is very interesting. While I don't see that the open house last week was a complete failure, I was disappointed myself in how much community appearance of folks that we had. The people who came and saw the presentations all seemed to leave with additional knowledge and understanding that they didn't have before. One of the positives is the funds that were spent for the electronic setup for the presentation. Instead of doing printing costs for things that were to be thrown away and couldn't be used another time, those monitors were able to be rolled into the offices. So our staff in Parks and Public Works and Finance were able to benefit from having better screens on which to do their work. So I was excited to roll that in. And then if ever that type of presentation is to be done again, those staff members are prepared to give up those monitors one more time so that we can do that again, because it seems like a great way to convey a lot of information out to the public in a very simple and understandable way. And then it's also provided staff the ability to take those 3 and 4 minute little things, put them into a video format, which has now been added to the city YouTube channel, the city Facebook page, and the city webpage. So everyone can have an opportunity even to share those. I do know some citizens have picked up individual slides out of those off of our webpage and have then shared them on Facebook and have opened up additional conversations. The group of them are all going to be compiled into one video that we can play then here on this screen prior to the public hearing next regular session on the 25th. So the wait time kind of from about 5:30 to 6, we can have that rolling through, and just one more way to spread that information to the public. So even though I wasn't happy with the foot traffic we had that night, I feel like the overall effectiveness of getting the information out is being very successful.
And having attended, I would just like to thank the city staff for all the work that you put into that. It seemed to be several departments that fed into that, financial, and just thank you guys for the extra efforts that you put into, making that presentation. And again, like Donna, I was disappointed in the foot traffic as well from the citizens.
Is it something that you're looking at doing again?
If I were to stay with the city, which I will not, it is absolutely something that I would do again. I think if the city were to put something together like that on a quarterly basis, and eventually the community would come to expect that this is the way the city puts information out, and to realize that staff would be there to answer questions, it would gain more traction over time and would help tremendously with the knowledge base of the community and the overall transparency of how people feel about what is going on with the city. So I think it would be a great thing to go on. I myself won't be here to make that decision, but you aldermen absolutely can.
Thanks, Donna. All right, item number 6 is the ordinance accepting an agreement with Mulligan Painting for the sandblasting and painting of the pool.
And I'm covering Jason on this tonight. He had other obligations. This is the pool plant painting contract that we've come back and forth with a couple of times and have done extra research. This time you have in front of you the certificate of liability insurance. We have now had this contract, it's gone through the attorney has made additions, it's gone back to Mongan has approved the edits that the attorney wanted. So the pricing, then of the numbers have changed. However, I must stress to you that we are absolutely under a deadline on this. At this point, we have 5 weeks for them to come in, do the contracted work, and I believe at that point it needs 3 weeks to cure before they can start filling the pool. So in order to start that on time, we truly need your approval tonight.
Has the performance and payment bonding issues been solved?
I was not made aware of any additional performing or bonding that's been put in there.
It wasn't added to the contract?
I did not,
That's why we were waiting.
and it may be, Donna, did that contract get put into the packet?
The one I got off you.
Yeah, I left mine down there.
It should be in the pack.
And we were working with someone else in Holly's office on this, so that's why she doesn't right off the top of her head know.
I wasn't with them on that, sorry, I didn't have to yet. Is it in the packet? Yeah, I'm sure I have it in the packet.
It's just payment performance bond. Contract number 9.
This is starting.
Did you locate it?
Item number 9.
Yep, payment of performance bond required within 5 days of contract execution.
Okay, so it is there.
That's the one we decided to cut one simple check, correct, rather than 1550?
No, that was concrete
Oh, that's right. I'm
for
sorry.
the new public works construction on Jackson Street.
It was James Newell in our office who reviewed it, so I knew he would have addressed that.
I do apologize, Jason and James were the ones corresponding on getting that done, but thank you for holding us accountable.
Do we need a motion or just a-
Yes.
Or what we need to, you need the reading of the ordinance title.
For the first read?
Yes. So we need that, right? Do I need to read it or you?
I actually.
That's what I thought, okay, that's what I thought. Told you I was gonna stumble over all of this.
You're doing great.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Mongan Painting LLC for the purpose of sandblasting and painting the city pool.
I'll make a motion to approve the ordinance as read.
Second that motion.
We have a first and a second. Alderman Billiard,
Yes.
Alderman King,
Yes.
Alderman Lancaster,
Yes.
Alderman Hall,
Oh, yes, I
and Alderman Swallow.
Okay.
Thank you.
I will make a motion for the second read of the same, please. Due to timing constraints.
I'll second that.
We have our first and second. Alderman Billiard,
Yes.
Alderman King,
Yes.
Alderman Lancaster,
Yes.
Alderman Hall,
Yes.
Alderman Swallow.
Yes.
Thank you.
Second reading, ask for the second reading.
Oh, so now we need the second read, please.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Mongan Painting LLC for the purpose of sandblasting and painting the city pool.
I'll make a motion to approve this second reading of the same, due to time constraints.
I'll second that.
First and second. Alderman Billiard,
Yes.
Alderman King,
Yes.
Alderman Lancaster,
Yes.
Alderman Hall,
Yes.
Alderman Swallow.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Next is our Cochrane Engineering for the water study.
Okay, so Mike, this is your ball game. Do you want me to preface you?
I think this is, I'm after this. This is for the water study.
Oh, you're right, it is. So this is actually me. Okay, so on this is, we've had several Cochrane things going through this week. This is something that we've talked about before, that in order to set up the supervised program through DNR for our water plan, we need a study done to look at what our system is and for them to analyze where we might want to put changes in. And Steve is excellent at explaining this. I am not, and if Justin were here, I'd call on him. We talked about it before. Does anybody have any questions on what this is? It is that we need them to do this in order to help us fill out the application for the DNR supervised program.
So my question, and we did talk about this briefly, but I want this to be part of the video because I'm sure others will have the same question. We did go over the fact that we're going with getting great rates for our full rate study.
Right.
This is also known as a rate study. Are the two connected?
They are similar yet different. So this rate study looks at what our current system is.
Okay.
And the other rate study through Getting Great Rates takes a snapshot of what our whole system was for all of our rates and all of the inputs from the whole year of 2023 and projects that against what we want to do in the next 5 and 10 years, looking at it from a financial perspective versus this one looks at it from an engineering in the ground kind of perspective. Capacity, exactly.
Okay.
So that's where the difference between a rate analyst looking at the numbers or an engineer looking at our water capacity.
I just wanted to make sure that we don't
I
have
really
questions
appreciate that question. We've had
coming.
months and months of so many different angles of water-related conversations. It's easy to get them mixed up.
Right.
Let me expound upon that a little bit.
Thank you.
This 5-year plan that you're discussing right now, we'll take a look at the system as it is today, identify the undercapacity issues, other weaknesses, and lay out a 5-year plan for improvement. You do that and have that in hand, and then you apply the Missouri Department of Natural Resources under the owner supervised program, which if they grant that to you, which they will, if you have a reasonable 5-year plan, which Cochrane will give to you, then you have the ability to extend your water system to certain limits without running back to DNR every time you do something for an approved set of construction plans, an approved construction permit, la-di-da-di-da. And this makes things much more efficient. It makes it efficient, one, in operations, and second is, it lays out the plan for where are your weaknesses and what do you need to do corrective. And our system is in dire need of that study again. So I just throw it out there for clarification.
Steve, if I remember right, this is where we don't have to go to DNR every time we need to do something. It allows us to, we have a plan, we can operate from that plan forward. We don't have to wait on DNR all the
Yeah,
time.
basically, we can extend systems 1,000 feet under an owner supervised program without getting a construction permit from DNR. But it still requires developers, when they put together their preliminary plats for subdivisions, and part of their plat requirement is a construction permit from DNR for what they're installing. That stays the same. But we're looking for fixes, maintenance, improvements.
Yeah. I would make a motion that we approve, or are we approving or reading an ordinance first?
She can read it.
Make a motion that we read the ordinance for Cochrane Engineering with the water study update.
And let me clarify that, with a T in the second line, it's a typographical error, but it's water study, not water study. But just so everybody's on the same page, that T should be in there.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter an agreement with Cochran Engineering for a water study update and 5-year Department of Natural Resources supervised program services, and authorizing the mayor to execute all necessary documents on behalf of the city of Willard.
I'll make a motion to approve the ordinance as read.
Second that.
We have a first and a second motion. Alderman Billiard,
Yes.
Alderman Key,
Yes.
Alderman Lancaster,
Yes.
Alderman Hall,
Yes.
Alderman Spottosh.
Yes.
Thank you.
For time's sake, do we need a second read on that, Steve?
Pardon?
For time's sake, do we need a second read on that, or we're good with? Because I noticed this, number 8 is there's a first and a second read, but on number 7, it's just the first read. I'm just asking if timeline wise, if we need to go ahead and do a second read tonight.
Timeline is not super critical on this. Just don't kick the can down the road further.
Okay, cool. Thank you for that clarification, sir.
So then, next is you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. With our fee capacity analysis.
Yes, so as promised, we are trying to adopt the 2018 building codes, and with that, there are several fee increases. I was going to be bringing this forward last month, but realized that there's a lot of things that I did not have prepared for. One of those things was a capacity study by Cochran Engineering, and as we just approved the other water study, as you read in the contract, they will use part of that water study in the capacity study that they will be preparing for this. But this is also a capacity study on sewer, streets, and storm drain, as we're looking at we're looking at some capacity fees maybe on the development side, which I'll be preparing and presenting. But as a general rule, we don't pull these numbers out of the air and present them to the public. We have a professional engineer go through and do official studies for us to generate that number, and then we rely on them to define that for us. So that's what this ordinance is proposing, is to get this study started as soon as we can, so we can have those numbers defined and we can have a professional number versus something that I pull out of the air.
Thank you.
And if I can add, the reason for the first and the second read tonight is that Cochran has asked for roughly 30 days to complete this. So if they're able to get started on it late this week or early next week, they can have it completed in time for Mike to take numbers to the Planning and Zoning Commission at the end of April. Otherwise, if we wait until after the 25th and they get started late that week, then it'll be the end of May before he can get this to Planning and Zoning.
And just for clarification, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Just for clarification, this is to bring us up to speed in terms of what our fees should be, correct, for developers and so on and so forth?
Yeah, and I have a lot of that done right now. I just don't have the capacity side of it completed. We've fallen behind in the last 15, 20 years on a lot of things. So the interesting part about it, by adopting the 2018 codes, our building permit fees actually go down. So it'll be cheaper for a building permit if we're able to insert some of these capacity fees and stuff on the development side. So, but yeah, the answer is yes.
Cool. Thank you for that clarification.
Any other questions?
So then we need the first read, please. An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter an agreement with Cochran Engineering for water, sanitary, road, and storm capacity fee services, and authorizing the mayor to execute all necessary documents on behalf of the city of Willard.
I'll make a motion to approve the first read as read.
A second.
Okay, we do have our first and our second. Alderman Billiard,
Yes.
Alderman King,
Yes.
Alderman Lancaster,
Yes.
Alderman Hall,
Yes.
Alderman Spalton.
Yeah.
Thank you.
If we could get I'll make a motion to approve the second as well. After the read. Due to the expediency of needing this done.
You made a motion?
I'll second that.
Alderman Billiard,
Yes.
Alderman King,
Yes.
Alderman Lancaster,
Yes.
Alderman Hall,
Yes.
Alderman Spalton.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So now we need the second read, please.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter an agreement with Cochran Engineering for water, sanitary, road, and storm capacity fee services, and authorizing the mayor to execute all necessary documents on behalf of the city of Willard.
I'll make a motion to approve the second read as read.
I'll second that.
Alderman Billiard,
Yes.
Alderman King,
Yes.
Alderman Lancaster,
Yes.
Alderman Hall,
Yes.
Alderman Spalton.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have any new business? Do we have any unfinished business? Do I have a motion for a recess?
I'll make a motion to recess open session, please.
Second that.
And the motion includes the reason to adjourn into closed session as pursuant to RSMO section 610.021, sub 3 for personnel and sub 13 for personnel.
Alderman Billiard,
Yes.
Alderman McQueen,
Yes.
Alderman Lancaster,
Yes.
Alderman Hall,
Yes.
Alderman Spalton.
Yeah.
Thank you.